CLO has several tools that allow us to express top stitching on the garment. These tools are located in 2D toolbar. Let's add top stitching to our pockets. Just like with sewing tools, top stitching can be applied with segment and free top stitching tool. For our pocket, we will need a free top stitching tool. Left-click once to start the stitching, move the mouse around the pocket and left-click again to finish. Now the top stitching has been applied. Top stitches are symmetrical, just like the pattern pieces they have been applied to. Most of the time this is exactly what we want, but sometimes we need to apply a top stitch to one symmetrical pattern piece only. This is possible by removing linked editing only from top stitching. With the Edit Top Stitch tool, right-click the top stitching you want to edit and select Remove Linked Editing. Now you can delete the top stitching on a symmetrical pattern piece. Just like with anything else, we can adjust the properties of the top stitching in Property Editor. Offset controls the distance between the edge of the garment and the row of top stitching. Stitch count sets number of rows of stitching. Length specifies the length of the stitch. And space is the distance between individual stitches. Thread thickness can be set in different units, and thread's color can be changed in the color section. To edit top stitching, use Edit Top Stitching tool, which works the same way as Edit Sewing tool. We can add and use several types of top stitching in our project. All of them will be added to the object browser. If the top stitches have been applied on top of each other, we can decide which stitch will appear to be on top. Select Edit Top Stitch tool and left-click on the stitch. In the drop-down menu, select the stitch you want and then right-click. Here you can choose to bring forward, bring to front, send backward, and send to back. To add realism to our seams, we can use Puckering tool. Puckering is small gathers that form on the fabric after sewing. Puckering tools are identical to top stitching tools, and you can add it in exactly the same way. In Property Editor, you can adjust the type of puckering depending on the type of fabric you are using and adjust its density, which is how close together the wrinkles are, and width, which is the length of the puckers. You can also increase or decrease the intensity of the puckering with Intensity Slider in Normal Map section. Sewing can be linked to top stitching and puckering. This means that you can sew, top stitch and apply puckering in one go. To create this kind of sewing, first make sure that your top stitch and puckering have been set up. Now apply sewing to the pattern piece and you will find top stitch and puckering options in the Property Editor. If you tick them, you will be able to select from the options you have set earlier. In placement, you can select the side to apply the top stitch or puckering to. You can select from seam A, seam B, or both. When you have finished, you can save your sewing top stitching puckering combo by clicking Save icon. With the top stitching and puckering applied, save your work as a garment.